So, how ready are we for the 2022 academic year? The Portfolio Committee on Basic Education visiting lots of schools to assess their readiness. It began in the Northwest yesterday, and tomorrow the committee will move to the Free State. Let's get an update then from Committee Chair Bongiwe Mbinqo-Gigaba joining us here on the South African morning. Bongiwe, good morning. Thanks for your time this morning. So how happy are you, or is there room for very quick improvement at our schools?
Morning to you and morning to the viewers at home. Look, like we have said, we are in the Northwest, and we are checking the readiness of the academic year. We are quite happy. There are just some issues of concerns, like your learner transport. That is a challenge and is not being really dealt with in a manner that is satisfactory. There is an issue of delivery of textbooks in some of the schools that has not yet reached the schools. And of course, the issue of infrastructure, it's a continuous issue. But the department has dealt with how they are looking into the issues of social distancing, like you know, and we know some of the schools are waiting for the mobile classrooms.
There has been some criticism leveled at the Education Department. Tell me if this is fair or not, that these are not new problems. We've had these problems for years, long before COVID-19 came along, apart from maybe the social distancing at the schools. We always are reporting on stories where there's not enough textbooks, infrastructure is a problem, school feeding is a problem, school transport is a problem. But yet every single year you have to go out there and report back on these problems. At what point do we stop reporting on the problems? At what point do we start fixing them?
Look, I agree with you. All these challenges, they are not new. They have been there. But I think the problem with government, and which I think we need to face, is that there is leadership change, which is also a factor in how we're doing things. For instance, I would want to make an example in the issue of learner transport that I have just raised. Government deciding that it must be a function that is under the Department of Transport, like is the case now in the Northwest. And when it don't work, you think that it would work again when you take it to the department that is education, right? So leadership change has got also its own disadvantages, because any leader that comes would think that it's better to do it like that, whilst probably there was a change in another department. So I think that is one of the issues. The issue of infrastructure, I think our main problems are starting with us not being able to handle the issues of maintenance. We are very as government in dealing with maintenance to maintain our buildings. And you know, if you don't maintain it, the reality is that it's going to end up being a serious issue of infrastructure. We are very happy to say now at least one of the serious things that we have managed to hear, that at least this department and this province have managed to get it right, was to increase their budget of infrastructure.
Yeah. I'm going to just have to ask you to answer this last question before I let you go, Bongiwe, because I know there's a lot to talk about. Just as briefly as you can, the problems that you're highlighting now, there does seem to be solutions, but children are already back in school, provincial schools at the coastal areas going back tomorrow. What's the timeline to fix these issues, very briefly?
We are giving a timeline of a month. For instance, your learning material actually I must say we are disappointed as well, because you should not even be giving a timeline. We are supposed, when we get there, the learning material is there, and that is not the case. So we are told it's going to be delivered in this month, and we have given a timeline of this month.
Well, I'm sure we'll follow up with you again, and I'm sure many people appreciate the work you're doing to try and see what the problems are and put a timeline in place. Chairperson of the Basic Education Portfolio Committee, Bongiwe Mbinqo.